Don't you dare. But I really do think the VMAs is like being aware of what's going on in music for the first time in a minute. Not to say
Mindful.
that they aren't. They really have been trying to put like Nicki at front and center, getting moments. But I think they're realizing, okay, for example, Chapel Roan, like she's
Oh
taking
yeah.
off and they're like, let's book her. But she just can't, make it happen. She dropped from a Taylor Swift tour to do her own, like, Lollapalooza set. Now she's dropping some of her own dates to do the VMAs. But I mean, I don't disagree with you on this. I hope she has some sort of make good for her fans in the future or some opportunity. We don't know. Like, I don't know how artists also go about that of like, I want to bring my fans something special. Do I bring it to them on the big screen or in person, or what's going to make me have a long lasting impression with my fans?
No, she said, nah, I hate being famous. It's so hard. But instead of doing a concert that I committed to, I'm going to do the VMAs instead, which is on a national platform on television. So please don't ask for selfies, guys.
Girl.
It's the Pop Report.
So juicy.
Hey, Miss Ma'am.
What's up?
Besides you scarfing down a protein bar,
Yeah.
I think we are both in this state of Delulu.
Yeah.
Like, I got off a flight, you're not eating, like, also running 80 miles in a week or a month.
A
I don't
month.
know. What have you been doing? What's up with you?
Staying busy, working, trying to keep a roof above my head, trying to keep my dogs walked. Staying busy. You just got
I
back
see
from
you.
Boston.
Yeah, I was gonna say before we get to my Boston trip, I see you've been working out, even though you told me last time you had an injury.
You
What is the
know,
status? Zachary.
I mean, listen, the body's still working. So as long as the body is still working, we're still going. I took it like light last week, and so now I'm back on my shit.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Unlike my hair right now, which has decided to do its own thing. Yeah, I am back from Boston. I, unlike you, have not been exercising enough and covered an event for Raising Cane's, the chicken finger place. Yes. They decided to have a celebration for their 28th birthday and wrap an entire restaurant in gold vinyl. Gold everywhere. It was freaking gold. Gold this, gold that. And they're like, do you want to come last minute? And I was like, sure. So there I was, deep in Boston, back already.
Are
Woke
you
up at
coming with me
5:30
to the
this
Coke
morning.
event?
Girl, you know I am.
Okay.
You know I love me
You
some good
didn't
Coke.
confirm. Just needed to put you
I
on the
was
spot.
confused. You literally sent me. So when Zach sends an invite to something, he goes, "Do you want to go with me to this?" And just sends me like the email.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I just screenshot the email. I'm just like, yeah.
"Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "What is this? I'm obsessed with Coca-Cola, but what is Coca-Cola and Oreos doing together?" Like,
I don't know. We're gonna find out that day. It's not under embargo, but it's a surprise product launch. But anyway, you went to go eat all the chicken
yes,
in
I went to
Boston.
consume chicken and report on it, and there I was deep in the Bostonians' stomping ground at 8 a.m. being a full cameraman, reporter, and everything. So that was fun. For 48 hours, I was in Boston, and
Love
now I'm
that.
back. Yeah, right. Just little things in life. Chicken, girls,
Chick-fil-A?
different, but same.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. Different.
Different but same. Well, I feel like we should get into today's headlines. We have a couple different things in the mix for y'all. We have Angelina Jolie today.
Say what?
So yeah, I know. We have Barry Keoghan, Harry
What?
Jousty, which I feel like he's made a couple
What?
laps around. You're like one of those girls who hits the like pow 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 button. But yeah, we have a quite the range of things today. But obviously, if you haven't subscribed, you should
Wait.
totally subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. Please subscribe. And don't drag me in the comments because I'll pop off on a bitch. But I also I also wanted to say that I was doing some reflecting. And I also realized that a lot of the times when I'm going in, when we do the in studio, because we tape the at home episodes later in the evening, but we tape the in studio episodes in the morning. So normally I've already taped no filter. I'm like, I've had to do a whole morning by the time I get in studio. And usually by then I don't eat. Like I've become one of those bitches that just like forgets to eat sometimes. And then I'm like starving. And then I'm like a raging
cranky.
bitch. Yeah, I'm cranky. And I realized I was thinking about it and I was like, I was really hard on that chapel bitch. You know what I mean?
You in
But
the studio in the mornings are hard on her, and then in the afternoons at home, you're like, I get where she's coming from.
I mean, I don't get where she's coming from, but my approach could be a little softer. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm a little rough around the edges, and she just like infuriates me. Like today, I saw that she was canceling shows with like not rescheduling them, but she was like, "I have to cancel shows on my tour, guys. Sorry, I have to rehearse for the VMAs." And I was just like, "Girl, you really just make it look like you don't like your fans, and I don't even like your music, but I like your fans more than you seem to." And so they're just little things that I'm just like, Chapel, like let's just be nicer to her. Like let's just show them a little more gratitude because I'm tired of always dragging her. And not that I don't mean every word that comes out of my mouth, but sometimes I'm like, but like maybe I don't have to go as hard, or like I could just be a little softer.
Well, that ties into our first story. Yes, the
Yes.
VMAs are actually coming up.
Yeah.
I personally don't think a lot of big moments have come from the VMAs in the past few years, except for like, looking at when Miley Cyrus hosted. There's no iconic quotes that have really come out.
Right.
Obviously, Nicki Minaj hosted. Megan Thee Stallion is hosting this year, so that's what we talked about before. But we have a couple invites that are on the list that are confusing some people. We have Shawn Mendes, Camila Cabello, and Sabrina Carpenter in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's like,
VMA said, we're going to give you mess this year. We're going to fire Nicki Minaj and hire Megan Thee Stallion. And then we're going to put Camila Cabello and Sabrina Carpenter and their gay boyfriend, Shawn Mendes, all in a room together. Snap.
don't you dare. But I really do think the VMAs is like being aware of what's going on in music for the first time in a minute.
Mindful.
Not to say that they aren't. They really have been trying to put like Nicki at front and center, getting moments. But I think they're realizing, okay, for example, Chapel Roan, like she's taking off and they're like, let's book her. But she just can't, make it happen. She dropped from a Taylor Swift tour to do her own Lollapalooza set. Now she's dropping some of her own dates to do the VMAs. But I mean, I don't disagree with you on this. I hope she has some sort of make good for her fans in the future or some opportunity. We don't know. Like, I don't know how artists also go about that of like, I want to bring my fans something special. Do I bring it to them on the big screen or in person, or what's going to make me have a long lasting impression with my fans?
No, she said, nah, I hate being famous. It's so hard. But instead of doing a concert that I committed to, I'm going to do the VMAs instead, which is on a national platform on television. So please don't ask for selfies, guys.
Girl, we'll come back to you in a minute.
You really
with your
like this
opinion.
Chapel chick, huh?
Not that I love, she's very new to the scene of like the big stardom scene. I think she's been around, she's obviously had music. I think that overall, like, she is hitting that safety button before it happens, like in the future, like I said before.
Very
But
presumptuous.
that's all I'm saying. I don't know what happens like in this right now on those interactions where artists come out and say, I was chased down the streets, or like I was stalked in my hotel room. There is the price of fame, but there's also the price of like wanting your own privacy and to be able to like book a hotel room in that example. But I don't know. I don't know what these things that like provoked her to say this.
Then be a private citizen. Like, it's not that hard.
Well, moving on to other things that we should talk about.
Yes.
Our watch or skip.
Are you gonna watch the VMAs or are you gonna skip it?
That's a good point, actually. I think I'll watch. I think I try to watch every time just to keep relevant, and we obviously have to report on it for work, and this podcast will probably have a couple of things to speak on, but I'll give it a watch. I always watch just to hope it keeps going and does something good.
Yeah.
Will you watch?
Pass. I'll watch
Got
the
it.
clips on social media.
That's what most people do.
Yeah.
It's also hard to watch award shows, like we said before, and like have a cable provider, premium cable, not the 12 channel.
Yeah. And it's like short attention span. Like, I lose interest very fast.
Speaking of losing interest, meet with
Angelina
Jurassic
Jolie.
World. Oh. Anyway, did you know there's another Jurassic World coming out?
Why?
This is my hot take.
When are we going to let the dragons die? Like, why do we keep trying? Oh, they're not dragons. What are they? They're dinosaurs. Let the dinosaurs die. That is my
Hot
PSA.
take. I think there are too many
Dinosaurs.
Fast and Furious
Yes.
dinosaur movies. Like, Kingdom, Planet of the Apes. There's too many where it's just like I don't even know the order. I think there was once a video I saw that was like rank all the Fast and Furious movies in order because it's like Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, and you're like, which one comes first? Like I don't know. They all just this one's called Jurassic World Rebirth. Don't know where this fits in the order.
Why do we keep bringing the dinosaurs back to life? Let them die in peace.
So this is the 7th film in the 31-year-old franchise. It's starring Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, a few other cast members.
No
and
Chris
it's being,
Pratt?
Not that we know. Not that we know.
They fired him.
A script by David Koepp, who wrote the original Jurassic Park. So according to the official film summary, the film will be set 5 years following the events of Jurassic World Dominion. Don't know where that is in the franchise. But the planet's ecology is proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs, which I thought that already was the case. Like, I don't know.
That's so many.
It's just, I think that overall
Who
we
came
have.
first, the dinosaurs or Jesus?
Oh, you're going on a different podcast to talk about that. Like, don't even. But I just think they obviously do decent from box office numbers, but I don't ever hear anyone who's like, oh my God, you need to see Jurassic World. Like Jurassic something. There's a lot of rides. It's iconic. I think they could have stopped after like the 3rd one.
Yeah, I feel like Jurassic World, when they did like the big splash with Chris Pratt and all of that, like that was like cool and people were like into it. But I feel like people are like Tokyo Drift was the last Fast and Furious. It was Fast and Furious, and then it was Too Fast, Too Furious, and then it was Tokyo Drift. And I don't remember the 8 others.
Yeah, no, I just know Dwayne The Rock Johnson's in it and and Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah, in the Fast and the Furious, yeah.
Yeah. Going back to what you said earlier about things apparently people like me don't care about, Angelina Jolie. Oh my God. You today. Angelina Jolie just got a standing 8-minute ovation, and I do care about her.
Wow,
Listen.
8 minutes. That's so many minutes.
So she
Longer
is...
than her ex lasted in bed.
You really... I don't know about this comment you said earlier about you being like a hangry little bitch in the morning, and you're just hitting them left and right today.
My protein bar. I'm witty.
I'm witty. I'm pretty. I'm fun. Yeah, so Angelina Jolie has been on this entire Oscar buzz potential, let's say like saga for her new movie Maria. Now Maria is acquired by Netflix, and it is about the story of an opera singer who some people don't know, but she's an iconic opera singer from the 1970s. Her name is, I'm blanking on her last name. I literally had this earlier and I was like, please. But I'll get back to that in a minute. But she has had a lot that's come up in this overall like Venice Film Festival because of a lot of different things. Number one, Brad Pitt is also there showcasing his own movie. So there's a lot of people who are talking about the run-ins that they may have. But also, you know, what we just said earlier, the 8-minute standing ovation. This is about an opera singer. And so Angelina Jolie did not know how to sing whatsoever before this. She trained for 7 months.
Wow.
7 months. So yeah, like she was super nervous from what she's been saying in like the press conferences, saying that she had her children like lock the doors and like let her practice, and like she didn't want a lot of people really too much around. But yeah, like she really just didn't have like a lot of Maria Callas. She didn't have a lot of like experience in this soprano range. She's like, I don't really sing in general, but yeah, she trained for 7 months for a role that is an opera role.
Good for her.
Which I think when people get nominated for Oscars and people go for a lot of these Academy Awards, it's you have to do something that is very out of the norm for this actor or actress. Like the story arc already of it being a drama, cool, great acting, but also to go from not being able to sing to singing opera, that's a big feat. Like in a movie like this. But people are also talking about the moments that have been in the press conferences. People have been asking, obviously, like, what's your private like been like? Like, what's going on in your world? And she's obviously been very private since her divorce. And she's been saying, you know, my kids have been like taking priority. My family have been first. But she had to also lately like kind of stop communication. True. She had to stop communication with her father because sometimes her father airs out her personal life a lot. So they've been like having a tumultuous relationship over the past few years, but she's really just trying to take her own and like work with her and her kids. Obviously, one of her children dropped the Pitt last name as of late.
A couple of them did. I think like 3 of the girls did.
They're all like, it's telling something. But will you give Maria a watch? We don't know when there's a release date on this.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't sound that exciting. I don't like musicals.
Not a drama musical. Not a drama.
No.
Did you see the new trailer for Nobody Wants This? Speaking of things that relate to you.
Yes, and thank you. I did see that with Kristen Bell, and it actually looks really funny, and I identified with her character very much.
So for those of you who may not have seen it, there's a new show coming to Netflix, and it is a rom-com.
It's a show or a movie?
It's a show.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I thought it was a movie.
It's a show. It's a show. So she is an agnostic podcast host, and
I'm not agnostic. Well,
different.
Isn't that what she said? Isn't that what you said? She's agnostic?
She's agnostic.
Yeah.
In this.
So she doesn't believe in Jesus.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay. So she falls in love with a rabbi unexpectedly at a party.
Got it.
So
Adam Brody.
Yes. But basically, like, this whole entire show is like, how does this work? The two of them, a rabbi and someone who is, not a believer. They're very different backgrounds. Even in the trailer, you have my voice cracking today. You have like the male character and his mother, and the mother saying like, "You will never be with my son," like with a smile, like one of those.
I didn't
like,
catch that in the trailer.
Really?
I mean, I caught the mother's disapproval, but I didn't catch that she was agnostic and he was not, and he was very gnostic.
Yeah, and like obviously, if you are in a religious position of some sort of power, it's like no sex, no like relationships, depending on like the affiliation with God, like your relationship is devoted to God. But yeah, there's gonna be 10 episodes. It's gonna premiere on September 26th, and it's produced by 20th Television, in association with Stephen Leviton Productions.
Oh.
No. Stop throwing me off sometimes. You're like really trying to see if I can break. I think this is a very interesting take because personally for me, this is a different correlation, but I've enjoyed when movies take this approach where someone is like a blogger or someone who is like got their own audience and they're trying to kind of divulge secrets from each other. So this reminds me of A Simple Favor, where Anna Kendrick was like a mommy blogger, and she's like educating her audience about like what's going on in her life as it happens. I think with this also kind of reminds me of what you do to me sometimes, where these podcast hosts are talking and the other said to Kristen Bell's character, like, what's this man like you're seeing? All this stuff. And I'm like, girl, I've been in that seat before. But I think it seems fun. I enjoy Kristen Bell in these types of roles. I really don't know too much about Adam Brody, to be honest.
You don't know? How do you not know much about Adam Brody?
Tell me things he's in.
He is in, what is this movie called?
It's a TV show series, 10 episodes.
OC.
Nobody wants this.
He was in the OC.
Okay,
I never watched the OC though. I know he was briefly on Gilmore Girls.
I didn't watch Gilmore Girls.
I did he didn't have a major role in Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
I mean, he's been around.
So have you.
Yeah, but people know me.
Other news, Barry Keoghan just got added.
Are you going to watch it? You have to watch or skip. Smash or pass.
Smash or smash. Smash, pass.
Smash,
Watch. I will watch because I really do like when she takes on these type of roles.
Yeah.
Sorry I jumped the gun on that one. I'm just still stressed and pressed. I'm also excited that Barry Keoghan has been added to the Peaky Blinders lineup.
I'm not. He's funny looking.
I think it may add some interesting elements into it just because of like how ominous Saltburn was. That I think like Cillian Murphy and Barry Keoghan are two very ominous characters. So I'm like,
Is he
what's
going to be at the VMAs?
You know, that's a good thought. That is a good thought. I'd love to see. I mean, he responded to the Bratz dolls of Jenna Ortega and Sabrina Carpenter saying, like, I would like them, or I'd like some, or one, because people thought that they broke
Voodoo
up.
doll.
I mean, that too. But I could see him making an appearance and blowing like a kiss to her, but they are very subtle with their relationship, it seems.
She can do better.
You can do better, but you don't.
True.
Last but not least, speaking of people who can do better, Harry Jowsey has been added to the season of Love is Blind. I'm confused. Like, what is this man? What shows is he on? What is he doing? I feel like he's been on everything.
Yes. So you're not the only one that's confused because he made this announcement, but Netflix hasn't really confirmed it. So people are like, wait, is he trolling everybody and he didn't really join? He posted on his TikTok this photo of him, which is a cast photo for Love is Blind. And then he did it to the audio that says, another one, and another one, and another one. I don't know if you know that one on TikTok.
Yeah.
He was like, here's another one. I'm doing another show on Netflix. And so
This can't be real.
he said that he's coming to a new... But here's the thing. There's no premiere date for the new season of Love is Blind. And so people are like, well, then is he not... Like, is he just trolling everybody? Because there are no details about season 7. And why would Netflix allow him to just, full liberty run with this? But...
I don't freaking know.
I would absolutely watch Harry Jowsey on Love is Blind. Well, no. Okay, that's such bullshit. He's not joining Love is Blind because the whole premise of Love is Blind is you're not supposed to know what they look like. And Harry Jowsey is one of the biggest Netflix reality stars because he's been on every Netflix dating show. So that would be really dumb. He's not joining it. Sorry, I just confirmed that in my own head.
He likes to play jokes on his audience, and like, even me just doing a quick search, like, this is where you get me riled up. You send me things and you have me read them and be like, is this real or fake? But people do announce that they're going on a show. Like, Love is Blind, I could understand if someone's like, I'm going to be on the show, and they need to they honestly need to kind of freshen up that show. So if he did do that, I wouldn't doubt it because it's mostly just your voice.
He couldn't do... His voice is too recognizable.
I don't think so.
I think so.
If you go on like Love is Blind UK or like Australia...
Netflix is available worldwide, Andy. If you go on
I'm aware, but if he goes on like a different season, like spinoff of like Love is Blind Australia.
If you're applying for Love is Blind, then you obviously are familiar with Netflix and you're familiar with Netflix dating shows and you're probably familiar with Harry Jowsey. He's been on every Netflix dating show there is.
And we haven't.
I don't know if I could do that.
In other general news for our movie and TV segment, we have Miss Paris Hilton coming into the headlines for a dumb reason, in my opinion. And I know, like, I don't really
care about babies.
Say the word dumb or like, what?
He said care about babies.
You really are trying to put words in my mouth and see what I do. I don't really take firm stance, like, and aggressively say, like, too much, because we have Zack for that. But Paris Hilton is being called out for not giving her child a life jacket aboard her huge yacht. Now, think about this for a second. Paris Hilton and the word yacht. How big do you think of a yacht she has?
It's not a little boat.
It's not a little boat. Like, Paris shared a bunch of photos of her family going out and about, carrying her son, and he's 1 year old. A year old. And yeah, like, she posted all these like cute little videos and said, like, watching Phoenix explore the world has been so special to me. I'm so grateful to be a #living mom. And she captioned it to Ed Sheeran's 2014 song Photograph. Funny. But people were like, Mama, you should give him a life jacket. Like, he's running around that boat. And like, obviously people are concerned about children at all times. I get it. But in this case, like, if you see, and if you even don't see the photos, if you think just like Paris Hilton in boat, and you think of how she keeps track of everything, and she's like on it, she came out and said, hey mamas, thank you for the advice and always caring about my #cutesy crew. It's a big boat. and my husband and I are following him around everywhere and watching like hawks. My babies are my world. Why is this news? Why why are we also like giving Paris Hilton parenting advice? I'm sure she also has like
Nannies.
yes. Like there's sometimes where I'm like, this is obvious, right? Like we all agree with this. And I'm like, yeah, but like there's times where stories like this pop up and everyone's like, she's not a good mother.
Listen, people just like to get their little fingers and leave little comments because they're sad in their own lives and they just want to shame other people. And
The
so,
little chicken fingers.
yeah, their little Cheeto dusted fingers. And they just want to troll people and they want to mom shame and they want to, pick apart. Like, it's not like when Michael Jackson was holding his kid over the railing, right? Like, that obviously posed a bigger threat. Should a child have a life jacket on any boat? Sure. But in this case, this was a really big boat. I mean, listen, obviously you should take precautions, right? But at the
I
same
get
time,
that.
I'm sure there were life jackets on the boat. The kid wasn't near any of the railings. He was with a parent at all times. I mean, there's also the argument that's like, well, but if something happened at sea, then, there could have been a threat. But I mean, also people walk around without life vests on boats all the time. They put the life vest on if there is a threat that comes, if there's choppy waters or something. So listen, it's her kid. It's her business. They're not going to put their kid in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everybody needs to just chill and let her live her life and let them just, enjoy their boat day. Like, why are you going to ruin their boat day?
Don't ruin my boat day.
No, her yacht day. Sorry.
Sorry, yacht.
Yachty.
Yada, 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 yada. Anyway, Megan,
The stallion.
I want to get to some WTF moments of the week. In this case, we have just one moment. I haven't brought you like a weird story like in a minute, but I want to read to you this article that popped up on my desk from People Magazine.
Please share.
And I just want to read it aloud
Okay.
because the title alone, for all you listeners out there, is pretty just, you're like, what? Why? Who? So the title of this article says, husband poisoned wife's cokes in attempt to kill her and marry her daughter.
Why?
Exactly. Like what?
Details.
So Alfred Russ, who is 71, pleaded guilty to poisoning his wife in 2021 and claimed he had two accomplices. So the Indiana man had a period of months where he planned to kill the woman and married said daughter. So he was sentenced this week after pleading guilty to aggravated battery, posing a risk of death for the poisoning that sent his wife to the hospital several times. So, according to the authorities, the investigation began in 2022. 51-year-old Lisa reported him to the police, claiming he was trying to poison her, which, Well,
if you think he's trying to poison you,
think.
you ding back. Why you keep drinking the Coke?
So she was experiencing, quote, unexplained headaches, drowsiness, diarrhea, and more as a result of the poisoning. The woman tested positive for several drugs, including MDMA and cocaine, both of which she claimed she didn't knowingly take. Okay, so that's part one. You're like, Now I want to know what point we get to the daughter, Now Russ confessed he had been poisoning her soft drinks. I love that also we bring back Coca-Cola. But yeah, this was all according to the affidavit, but the bishop found a powdery substance in the cans of Coke. So Coke had Coke, no joke. So Russ admitted to the officers he was poisoning his wife. And the, admitting of everything, he said it so he could marry her daughter. He also told authorities two other women were involved in the plan, including Bishop's daughter as well. So he also claimed he was in a sexual relationship with his wife's daughter. So this is where it gets really weird. He told authorities the daughter provided him with the poison and hatched a plan to kill the mother.
Gypsy
It wasn't immediately clear if the daughter had been charged in these allegations, according to the arrest affidavit.
Well,
Russ will serve. He will serve 4 years in prison, followed by 5 years of probation, followed by court documents for the Kansas City Star and USA Today.
How is he going to kill her with a little MDMA and some Coke? He was just showing her a good time.
Can you imagine? Your own daughter wants to kill you, so she can be with.
So they must have fallen
the man
in love.
you're with.
Yeah.
How? But like,
I don't know.
31 and 71.
That's some Mary Cosby stuff right there. No.
Don't bring Mary Cosby in this. She's not doing anything right now.
She married her
So-
granddaddy when her mom died and took
I'm
over
aware
the
of that.
church.
I'm aware of that, but I thought you'd sit here and say, what the F? Like,
I am.
because
I said, what
what
in the
the
Mary
F?
Cosby? I said, what in the Gypsy Rose?
So there's your weird story of the week.
So that's just like, he was, wow. I feel like
Wow.
if you're going to, like, you should maybe pick something that's a little more, I don't know, like a less fun drug, right? Like he was giving her Coke so she could be wired.
My question is, who's this other accomplice? Like he said there were two
Donor.
other women
Oh,
helping.
two.
So I'm like,
Who? Yeah, who? I guess whoever they were buying the drugs from must have been the other accomplice.
my other question is, if you thought Coke was going to kill somebody, if you ingest Coke and MDMA, like, does that really kill you if you have too much?
No,
Probably.
that's why I'm saying he was just trying to show her a good time. I mean, I'm sure if it's like too much, but like that's a whole lot. And she wasn't even snorting it. She was literally drinking it in her Coke.
Well,
How
let's
is
move
that
on to
giving
other.
her diarrhea?
Let's move on to other
and
couples who are
headaches?
not getting diarrhea and trying to kill each other, shall we?
Isn't MDMA Molly? Isn't that the drug that you take because you like want to have a real good time, and like everything is like fun?
Yeah.
So how is he trying to kill her with some Molly? This story just gets more and more weird. He was
I
trying to show
know.
Mama a good time so that he could take her out and steal her daughter.
Girl, so confusing. Well, in other news, Callum Turner and Dua Lipa have been seen vacationing in Spain. On a lighter note, I don't know how to transition that one. So, as you've seen, the Masters of Air star and the singer have been spotted multiple times, but she is soft launching even more photos. But they've been seeing like a lot of photos appear of them in the press. She has like a bikini pic, like with her boyfriend that just came out. But yeah, like she went Instagram official with him in early July. So they had been seen together since January. But yeah, Callum also came to Glastonbury in June. So we've gotten like a few little like sneak peeks of the two together. Again, I'm just having a hard time recovering going from poisoning
One
to
love story to a next.
correct. So I'm excited to see that Dua Lipa is living her Ibiza vacation love life because she is the vacanza queen, as people say.
Make sure she doesn't kill the forest like Katy Perry.
Let that sink in. Aside from that, Yolanda Hadid is engaged.
Good for her.
Did you see that? Good for her. I think Yolanda deserves happiness.
She
And,
really thrived after David Foster divorced her while she had Lyme disease.
you know, there's a lot that's happened to her. She got pushed into a dresser. She's been through a lot.
Oh, I
think,
forgot about the dresser.
yeah, she's been
Oh,
now in.
from Zayn.
Mhm.
Remember he threw her.
I know. I hope she's happy. Yolanda's engaged to CEO Joseph Gingoli after 6 years of dating. So yeah, she is 60 years old and she met this construction company CEO in Pennsylvania. Surprise! I don't know many people who meet in Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from. But the two of them bought a farm and moved in 2017 after raising their children there. So that's kind of it. Like that's the story. So
Congrats, Yolanda.
they celebrated their 5th anniversary in January, but they went to Texas for their anniversary. And so don't know too much about the engagement, what happened, but congrats to her.
Yeah, good for her.
Gigi Hadid is going back to work for the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
She's
so I'm
not
sure
with Zayn anymore, huh?
No,
Yeah.
but they obviously have a child together.
She looks great at the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Well,
was like,
girl, it
damn.
hasn't happened in 3 years.
I know, because it got like canceled. But now it's
Yeah,
back.
now it's
it
coming
got
back.
uncanceled.
I don't know how.
I mean, listen, now they got Gigi Hadid pimping it
And
out.
Tyra.
Good. Tyra's back?
Tyra's coming back.
Wow.
They must have figured some
That is
stuff
an
out.
interesting choice, considering Tyra was under fire for America's Next Top Model. Remember when they shaved the girl's head?
Let's try to not remember that. Let's try to
And
move
then
on.
she was like crying. And then, yeah. And then
Well,
yeah.
in other news that is not so happy, I don't know if you've seen this.
Yes.
I'm not someone who has kept up with Dancing with the Stars, but Dancing with the Stars pro Artem Chigvintsev has been arrested for domestic violence just a few days after he celebrated his wedding anniversary with Nikki Garcia. So, for context, you're strapping in. Nikki Garcia, she and her twin just hosted a show
Total Bells.
that was on Amazon.
Total Divas.
I did interview them a little while ago. He came to the event, but he was arrested Thursday morning, and a lot of reports have been coming out that he was put in jail in Napa Valley, California over a felony charge, according to TMZ. His bail was set at $25,000, and a lot has developed since literally this morning, since the recording of this. It has not been clear, though, if his wife, Nikki Garcia, was involved in the incident. There's not really a lot out, but a lot of things are coming out because of the arrest. So an arrest was made at the scene where it happened, and injuries were reportedly involved, and the victim was asking for total confidentiality.
Yeah.
So they're not speaking about it.
It's Nikki.
We have no idea. I feel like it's sad to say that if it was a couple, like we would for sure know about it, like someone making a statement. They do have a child together, but he's been released from jail since the domestic violence arrest. And it seems that the reports that have been coming out claim that he has also been in the past accused of kicking and shoving his dance partner before this violence arrest. So Fern Britton, who was
a bit dramatic with that. When I was reading that, and I was like, "Girl, come on! She's like an old lady. You want me to believe he's gonna be kicking some old lady?" I mean, not. She said he was very aggressive, and she said that he was very curt with her, which I believe. She's like, he wasn't very charming, and I get that. But I was
she's
like,
67, and she said, "quote Artem would look at my feet and just kick or shove me." That's one of her statements. So
that was back in 2012. He's been on the show for many other seasons. He's going to pick this one old lady to beat up.
He stated, you just stand there and don't move. I dance round you. So, he was like, shut your face, go home before I kill you, is what like some of the claims. They're pretty up there of aside from just like being a professional dancer and be like, I'm going to trip over you, I'm going to shove you. But she would respond to him and say, I would just say, oh, please just kill me. It'd be easier. So
it sounds like there was a banter.
It sounds like there were some things they did not get to see eye to eye on in their routines, but it seems that he will not be coming back to Dancing with the Stars because of this arrest.
No, he was already not coming back.
Yeah, but at least for any thought of coming back. As far as his release, let's see what they say.
I mean, I'm assuming it has to be Nikki. I mean, and the reason, one, she's a public figure, and two, I would imagine she doesn't want this information out because they have kids. There's a chance that it's not Nikki. I don't want to put that out there that it is her, but my immediate thought was it would have to be her.
Right. Right. So she actually shared a photo of herself getting a facial in downtown Napa at the time. So that was one day before the arrest. So she was there. It just sounds obviously like any domestic violence arrest is sad.
Yeah.
To not know what's going on also as a public, when these outlets and reports are coming out about it, it makes it very suspicious of total confidentiality, because regardless if it is her or not, number one, this is a private matter, but if anybody wants to keep things private, the first thing they do is put out a statement, and that says, look, we're looking for privacy. Please don't report on this. We're working on this amicably or something of the sort. But as we've seen in media, when things just linger and no one speaks on what happened, of here's where we're trying to figure it out. Obviously, they're trying to figure it out behind the scenes if it does involve the two of them or somebody else. Who knows? But we're a couple hours in this, and there's just going to be more and more and more that is going to come out unless something is released.
I mean, I'm thinking it's somebody, you only tell the cops you don't want it out there because you want that privacy because you are somebody that would be of public interest. Otherwise, the press isn't going to pick up if it's some random Joe Schmo that he got into a fight with, that person's priority is not going to be worried about going into the press.
Unfortunately, the thing is, too, if it was someone who most likely was a random passerby, a random citizen of the area, or vice versa, whatever, they would probably press charges of some sort, and it would be in the police report. Who knows? They're requesting confidentiality.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works specifically in the police reports, like how far you can get for confidentiality.
I mean, I think you would
if this
only
was in
ask for
public.
confidentiality if you can prove to the cops that this is something that could become noteworthy in the press. I mean, and he was arrested. Like, it wasn't like they responded to a domestic dispute. They took him into custody. So it had to have been serious.
Yeah, we don't know, but sad overall. You have something also for our couples corner that you wanted to throw in here as well.
Oh yeah, speaking of good news, Joey Lawrence is shutting down affair rumors. So Joey Lawrence of the Lawrence brothers, like the Jonas brothers, but not as famous. Joey was, there were these rumors. So he just got married to Samantha Cope. They've been married for about 2 years. They have a baby together. I think the baby's 19 months old. Recently, she filed for divorce, and there were rumors that were coming out that he was having an affair with his co-star. So he just finished filming a movie called Socked for Christmas, or sorry, Socked In for Christmas. And so his co-star is Melina Alves, and they were reportedly getting very close. It's believed that they were having an affair. Now there's the divorce filing. So he's finally come out, made a statement, and is shutting down affair rumors. And he's saying that he did not have an affair with the co-star. Yes, they are very close, but they did not have, he used the term, they did not have a physical relationship, which is like, well, does that mean you had an emotional affair? Like, what does that mean necessarily? He said they did not have a physical relationship, and he did not cheat on his wife. Or well, actually, he didn't say that. He just said he didn't have this affair. But he says that the real reason that his marriage ended is because, well, one, they've had a rocky relationship since the start of their marriage. And two, he's claiming that his wife, Samantha, or I guess estranged wife, Samantha Cope, was not accepting of his 2 older daughters.
That's tough.
I'm like, ooh, that's shots fired. I mean, I'm assuming he thinks she's the one that's leaking this affair story, and so that's when he's fighting back. And I believe she's responded, and she's like, I'm a mother. How dare you say that I wouldn't support somebody else's children?
You beast.
And
I
so,
apologized.
yeah. So he is saying he didn't have an affair, and he left her because she wasn't supportive of his children, and they had a rocky marriage.
Oh, that's just overall
And
sad.
She's fighting for custody of their kid. They have their 19-month-old baby. She wants to only give him visitation. He already has 2 kids and seems to be doing fine with that. I would be very shocked if they granted her, primary or full custody, and only give him visitation, because I don't think he can prove that he can provide, and he already has 2 other kids that he's provided for. So I don't know. We'll have to see, but it sounds like it's going to get messy.
Speaking of things that are coming to a messy ending, I obviously had some bets with you about the Tom Girardi trial. And so when we had last spoke, literally for like an hour after the podcast, we recorded, you sent me a text, Tom Girardi.
No, that wasn't even an hour, because you had just left the studio. Andy had to run to the airport. So we finished taping, and I was like, Andy had just left. We just wrapped. I was standing up. We had David and Jack in studio, and I was like, I can't believe we don't have a verdict yet. I go, I thought we would have absolutely had a verdict by lunchtime today. I go, that's crazy. I go, you know what, David? This probably means that this may swing in his favor if they're deliberating for this long. And then next thing you know I walk right out of the studio doors into the parking lot, and the second I look down at my phone, boom, I get a text.
Damn.
Verdict is in.
I got a text.
And then by the time my Uber arrived and I got in the car, he was found guilty on all 4 counts of wire fraud.
The sentencing is happening in December. Is that correct?
December 6th.
Wow. Well, we had both taken bets. You thought Monday, and then you changed it to Tuesday.
Well, I was technically still right. So court was like slightly delayed on Tuesday because the judge was tending to another case. But so the second they got into the courtroom, like the second it was time to begin court, the jury had they had already had their verdict ready to go. So I assumed they reached the verdict by end of day on Monday, but they were like, let's just sleep on it. We'll go back into court tomorrow. If we're all feeling the same way, we'll move forward. But it seems like it was a relatively quick case.
Do you think that him being on the stand locked his fate in? Or do you think if he was not on the stand, it would have been a little more up for deliberation?
No, I think if anything, maybe it helped him like a smidge. The evidence against him was there was just no disputing it. There was no disputing that he knew what was going on. And I think him going on the stand maybe was like his last ditch effort to like try and come across as like charismatic and also seem kind of loopy because he's trying to say, he has Alzheimer's and dementia. And I think if anything, it may have like muddied the waters a little bit to kind of cast a little confusion on the jury, which I believe was his intention in taking the stand. But it obviously didn't work.
So what is the fate of the financial advisor or finance officer who was in on this with him?
So he is next up on trial. His trial is going to be coming up in a few months, and that's an easier case. Like there's even more evidence against him that he was a lot more complicit in this. And I mean, the wire transfers and the money and the checks and the witnesses all paint a big picture. But so there's Tom Girardi, who's now been convicted. He's awaiting his sentencing, so we'll see how much prison time he'll actually face. There's Christopher Camone, who is the CFO, and then there are 3 others that are currently being investigated. One of them is facing... So Tom has another criminal trial that's coming up next year, early next year, but that's in Illinois. So this was just his California criminal trial, but he's also been accused of stealing $18 million. This was a $15 million trial. The other one is $18 million, and he now has to go face those charges over in Illinois. But in addition to Tom and the CFO, there's also former partner Robert Finnerty, and then 2 attorneys, David Lira and Keith Griffin, who are also currently facing potential charges and trials.
So how many trials are we going to have?
I mean, probably. Well, at least for Tom, there are only 2. And I'm pretty sure at this point, they're not going to pursue anything more against him because he's going to be behind bars soon. And then when it comes to the others, I mean, we'll see what happens with them.
God. Maybe we should just curb today's episode there. I think our other headlines are like, I'm pretty capped. I'm pretty tapped also from this early morning. And I feel like we just discussed a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff in the grab bag today. Like, yeah. I don't know what is going to be coming up next. Sometimes I'm like, I'm ready for this episode. Other times I'm like, what are we about to walk into? And I'm like reading and reading and reading. Obviously, we don't know everything, but like there's times where we are like, correction, actually, this took a turn, or we didn't know this. But I feel like some of these things that we even talked about today are just weird, are just freaking weird, man. I guess the last thing to discuss that we didn't touch on is Taylor Swift documentary.
Oh, but yeah. Scooter Braun
that has dropped. Scooter Braun is being a troll. A weird troll. So obviously, I'm not going to rehash the history between Taylor and Scooter. Everyone knows that he bought the Masters. Cool, done. Now this documentary came out, and he said, I finally watched it. And then he posted an article of TMZ publishing this party that Taylor's having, which was what some assume to be a party for Blake Lively at the $17 million home of Taylor Swift. But he goes, why wasn't I invited? And it's like, sir, like, I know you're trying to be funny, but like, that's not funny. Like,
he's just trolling at this point.
You're just being a rude man. Like, at this point, leave her alone. She's like, you have caused me so much to do on my life terms that probably have also benefited me. But she's like, you didn't need to do what you did.
I mean, I'm tired of Taylor Swift being the chronic victim. She's fine. She came out on top of all of this. Like, I'm over her. I don't think she supports other women. Unless they're Blake Lively, and obviously Blake seems like a lovely person.
And that's your opinion.
Yeah.
And that's your opinion. But that's, I think, all of our stories I want to talk about, at least. I think you all should subscribe if you haven't, because that's what you should do. That's what friends do. Zack, what's coming up? I think we've been also trying to like reach out to some guests for the future. There's been a lot of different TV series and shows that have been like asking for a couple different interviews, and we're trying to figure out obviously some guests. But if you do have anyone that you think should come on also in our roundabout of fun correspondence and friends, let us know who you want to see coming back. But we've also been posting some fun stuff on Instagram of like daily news updates, because sometimes y'all can't wait for like a podcast episode and you're like, I need to know Zach's opinion about this random thing that I didn't ask for.
Yeah. Subscribe. Follow us on the gram. Follow us all over, because we have content just coming out 24/7.
When is this Coca-Cola thing, Zach?
It's a launch party.
I said when.
Oh, it is.
Hold for dramatic
September
reading.
5th, next week.
I have to wait a minute to tell everybody how I feel about going to another event with you with my favorite thing, Coca-Cola.
I'll make sure not to poison it with MGM.
Can you imagine Coke with Coke?
Coke with Coke. I mean, that sounds like, oof, your heart's going to be pumping.
I know. Anyway, I'm going to go try to rest in R&R after all this illicit conversation of news after my slingshot across the country from Boston.
Yeah, go rub
I'm
out.
dilapidated. But thank you so much. Obviously, we'll see you soon for more Pop Report. I'll slur my words a little less next time. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.